All right, let's be honest. Most people don't overeat because they're weak. They overeat because half of the food around them has been engineered by people in lab coats to make stopping feel like a personal attack. You open a packet of crisps thinking, I'll just have a few. Then suddenly the bag is empty, your fingers look like evidence from a crime scene, and you're sat there questioning your entire identity and all your life choices. That's not just lack of discipline, that is food design. Ultra processed foods are built to be cheap, convenient, hyper palatable, and ridiculously easy to overeat. And guys, the scary part is this: they don't just affect your waistline, they affect your hunger, your blood sugar, your insulin, your liver, gut, your mood, your brain fog, your ability to focus. So in this video, I'm going to break down what ultra processed foods actually do to your brain, why they're so hard to stop eating, and what to do without becoming one of those people who thinks eating a biscuit is a moral failure, because it's not about perfection. It's about understanding the game you're playing. And right now, most people are playing against an industry that has spent decades learning how to hijack appetite. Lovely stuff. Let's get into it. My name is Amir. I've worked as a doctor in the NHS, which is a National Health Service in the UK. I'm a biomedical scientist with a master's in cardiovascular research, and I'm a fitness coach and a rapper. But again, as I always say, this is not a job interview. So the one thing I learned from dealing with patients, coaching people, and just medicine and in general and real life is this: most health problems don't start dramatically. They build quietly. One poor meal won't necessarily destroy your health, but a diet built around ultra processed food day after day, year after year, that's where the damage starts, ladies and gentlemen. And the problem is that a lot of this food doesn't even look that bad. It's not always, obvious. It's not just fizzy drinks and sweets. It's cereals, protein bars, ready meals, flavored yogurts, sauces, frozen pizza, low-fat snacks, breakfast biscuits, basically half the fucking supermarket. You ever notice most of this stuff is quite cheap as well? Half the supermarkets pretending to be your friend. Right. So what ultra processed food actually means? What is that? What are we talking about? This is where people get confused. Processing itself is not evil. Cooking is a process. Freezing vegetable is processing. Pasteurizing milk is processing. That's not the issue, folks. Ultra processed foods are way different. They're industrial formulations made mostly from extracted substances, refined ingredients, additives, flavorings, emulsifiers, sweeteners, coloring, and textures that don't really resemble the original food anymore. So in normal English, it's food that's been broken down, rebuilt, flavored, softened, sweetened, preserved, packaged, and marketed until your brain goes, holy shit, give me some more. A simple way to think about it: if your grandmother would recognize it, it's probably food. If it sounds like it was assembled during a chemistry GCSE practical, maybe be a little bit suspicious. And no, this doesn't mean you can never eat it. I'm not saying that. I'm not here to start a food purity cult or some shit. I'm not going to slap a cereal bar out of your hand in Tesco if I see you. But we need to understand what happens when this stuff becomes a foundation of your diet. And trust me, it's a problem. All right, so ultra processed foods make it very easy to consume more calories. Not because you're stupid. I'm not saying that you don't have discipline. I'm not saying you're dumb. It's because they're often, soft, energy dense, low in fiber, which is very important, low in protein, fast to eat, and high in salt, sugar, fat. They're also designed to taste good immediately. Your satiety system gets completely outplayed by this shit. There was a very important inpatient study by Kevin Hall and colleagues at the NIH. They took people and gave them either an ultra processed diet or unprocessed diet. matched for things like calories offered, sugar, fat, fiber, and macronutrients. But here's the catch. People could eat as much as or little as they wanted. On the ultra-processed diet, people ate about 500 extra calories per day and gained weight. On the unprocessed diet, they ate less and lost weight. That is insane, folks. Same people, controlled environment, different food type. So when people say calories all that matters, calories in, calories out. Okay, yes, calories matter, but food quality influences how many calories you end up eating without even noticing. A fucking Snickers bar, tiny, has like 500 calories almost. What the fuck are we talking about? 500 calories. You know how long that will take for you to burn if you're walking on a treadmill? Whereas, if you get a couple of 100 grams of chicken breast and a little bit of rice here and there and then add it up with some salad, that might end up being 500, 400 and something, maybe a little bit more, but it will keep you full for longer. Right? It's not calories versus food quality. It's calories through food quality. Ultra processed food makes the calorie equation harder to control, man. It's like trying to save money while walking through traffic center with contactless payments and zero impulse control. Traffic center is the biggest mall in Manchester. I think UK or second one, I don't know. But that's what it feels like. It's like you have no control. You're just walking around just fucking paying for shit. Technically possible, but the environment is not helping you. Now, your body has signals that tell you when to eat and when to stop. Hormones like leptin, ghrelin, insulin, GLP-1, peptide YY, you name it. Your gut talks to your brain. Your brain talks to your body. It's a whole WhatsApp group, okay? Ultra-processed foods basically enter that group chat and start sending voice notes at like 2x speed. They might start sending nudes. They're often, just ruining the group chat. So they are often eaten quickly, digested quickly, and they don't always produce the same fullness signals as whole foods. Also, liquid calories are a perfect example. You can drink 300 calories in about 90 seconds and barely feel anything happened. That's not normal. Now try eating 300 calories of potatoes, chicken, vegetables, or Greek yogurt. Completely different experience. This is why food form matters. Texture matters. Chewing, protein, fiber, volume, all of this matter. Your stomach is not a spreadsheet. It responds to physical food. When your diet is mostly ultra processed, you can end up full of calories but still biologically unsatisfied, if that makes sense. That is a horrible combination, and that's why we have an obesity epidemic in the Western countries. High calorie intake, low satiety, more cravings, more grazing, more why the hell am I hungry again? I just had food like 30 minutes ago. Oh my god. This is why everyone goes on things like Mounjaro and GLP-1 injections so that they eat less, because I made a whole nother video about this. Let's not jump into that rabbit hole. Anyways, let's continue. Ultra processed diets are often linked with worse metabolic markers. Weight gain, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes risk, fatty liver risk, blood pressure, lipids. A 2025 narrative review in Nutrients summarized evidence that ultra-processed food consumption interacts with energy balance, insulin resistance, inflammation, gut microbiome changes, and metabolic dysfunction. And this makes sense. If the diet is high in refined carbs, added sugars, industrial fat, low fiber, low protein, your body is constantly dealing with rapid glucose changes, higher insulin demand, and poor satiety. Over time, especially if calories are high and your activity is low, you get fat accumulation. Simple. Especially visceral fat. Visceral fat is the fat around the organs, and that's the one we should really care about metabolically. It's linked with insulin resistance, inflammation, fatty liver, blood pressure, and cardiovascular disease risk. So when people say, I don't care about weight, Body positivity. Oh, love yourself the way you are. I don't care about weight. Dear God, give me patience. I don't want to get canceled. Okay, but they say I don't care about weight. I just want health. I feel healthy in my body. Okay, fine, great, good for you. But if ultra processed food is driving visceral fat and insulin resistance, then it's not just about appearance. It's not vanity, it's physiology. Your body doesn't care if society says body positivity or gym bro. Your pancreas is still sitting there like, bro, can we get a fucking break? I've produced so much insulin. Chill out. Let's talk about the brain. The brain. The most important organ next to the heart. This is where things get interesting, folks. People usually think food affects the body below the neck. You know, your belly, liver, heart, you know, all that kind of stuff. But your brain is an energy-hungry organ. It's sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations, inflammation, sleep quality, gut health, and vascular health. Ultra-processed foods have associated with neuropsychiatric outcomes, including cognitive decline, dementia, mood disorders, and neurodegeneration in reviews of the evidence. So much research done. All of that will be linked in the description. Now, careful. Association does not always mean causation. We need to be honest here, okay? People who eat more ultra-processed foods may also have other lifestyle factors like less sleep, less activity, less diet quality, stress, lower income, less access to whole foods. So there are so many factors. So don't say one packet of biscuit gives you dementia. I don't want to fucking hear that shit, okay? That's dumb. But if the pattern is concerning and mechanistically it makes sense. If ultra-processed foods increase risk of weight gain, insulin resistance, inflammation, poor sleep, and vascular dysfunction, then over time, that can absolutely affect the brain, man. Brain fog is not always mysterious. Sometimes your brain is trying to run high-performance software on a diet of cereal bars, coffee, and stress. I've experienced it on multiple occasions. This is why I try and get as much protein and whole foods as possible throughout my day, especially as I get older. Now let's talk mental health. Again, we don't oversimplify, all right? Depression is not caused by biscuits. Anxiety is not cured by broccoli, all right? If anyone says that, throw them into the sea next to Bin Laden. But diet can influence mood through inflammation, gut microbiome, blood sugar stability, sleep, nutrient intake, all this kind of stuff. A 2022 systematic review and meta-analysis found greater ultra-processed food consumption was associated with increased odds of depressive and anxiety symptoms. Again, not proof that ultra-processed foods alone cause depression, but enough of a signal to take seriously. So, because if you're tired, for example, anxious, you got low mood, struggling with, focus, and your diet is mostly ultra-processed garbage, that is a lever worth changing. Not because food is magic, because the brain lives in the body and the body responds to inputs. Now, are ultra-processed foods addictive? This is going to get controversial, okay? Let's be real. Some foods absolutely behave differently in the brain compared with whole foods. Nobody is lying awake at midnight thinking, I swear to God, if I don't get steamed broccoli right now, or like some spinach, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. But chocolate bars, crisps, biscuits, fast food, different story. Why is that? It's a different story. Ultra-processed foods often combine refined carb, fat, salt, flavor enhancers, low fiber, rapid eating speed, reward-driven texture. That combination, man, hits reward pathways real good. Not because you're pathetic, because your brain is designed to seek energy-dense food. That was useful when food was scarce. Now it's a disaster because Deliveroo fucking exists. All right. You can just chill in your living room and you'll be like, I'm fancying a dessert. Boop, 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 boop. Some guy shows up to your door with fucking dessert. I've done it. Sometimes my wife and I, we're chilling. We have a newborn. We're stressed the fuck out. We're sleep deprived. We're like, let's order dessert because fuck everything, okay? Anyway, so what to do instead without becoming miserable? Now the practical bit, because the solution is not never eat processed food again. That's unrealistic, and honestly, people who make their whole personality clean eating are a little bit fucking exhausting, I won't lie. The solution is build your diet so ultra processed foods are not the foundation. Let me give you a little framework. Rule number 1, protein first. Every main meal needs a protein source. Chicken, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, lean meat, you name it. All right. Protein helps satiety, muscle retention, blood sugar control, and fat loss. Rule number 2, fiber with most meals. Things like fruit, vegetables, potatoes, oats, beans, lentils, whole grains. Why? Because fiber slows digestion, supports gut health, improves fullness, and helps metabolic health. Rule number 3, do not drink your calories daily. Sugary drinks, fancy coffee, juices, milkshakes, they go down too easily. If you're trying to lose fat or improve blood sugar, liquid calories are often the first thing I would look at. Rule number 4, create fiction. Don't keep trigger foods at home if you know you can't handle them. Me, okay? When I was in medical school, I had no snacks around the house. My snack would be like boiled eggs or peanuts. Sad life, but it worked. I was in the best shape of my life. Now I'm a married man. I have a boy. I have 2 dogs. My wife loves her snacks. We have them all around the house. Things can get fucking out of control sometimes. When I'm waking up at like 1 in the morning to make milk for the baby or feed the baby, and I look at that chocolate bar, I'm like, if only. So things could get bad. So if I could, I would throw all the snacks into a safe, lock it, give the key to my wife, or throw it in the fucking ocean. Anyways, so don't keep the triggers at home if you can't handle them. It's not weakness, it's a strategy. If you know you will eat the whole pack, don't buy the pack and then pretend your future self is a monk. Your future self is tired and wants snacks. Set them up properly, okay? Set them up properly. Rule number 5, use the 80-20 rule. Eat mostly whole, minimally processed foods. Keep some flexibility because, perfection fails. Consistency wins though. The goal is not to be a food saint. The goal is to stop ultra processed food controlling your appetite, energy, and health. Now, a quick, simple 7-day challenge. Here's your challenge. For 1 week, don't change everything. Just do this. Number 1, eat a high protein meal at breakfast, first meal. 2, add 1 fruit or vegetable to 2 meals per day. Number 3, replace 1 ultra processed snack with a whole food option. Number 4, don't drink calories Monday to Friday. Simple. Number 5, walk 10 minutes after your biggest meal. That's it. It's nothing sexy or extreme. It's effective and it works. But after 7 days, ask, am I less hungry? Do I have fewer cravings? Is my energy more stable? Is my digestion better? Am I sleeping better? Because you don't need to believe me. Test it on your own body. Now, in conclusion, ultra processed foods are not evil, but they're not neutral either, right? They're designed to be more convenient, cheap, hyper-palatable, and easy to overeat. And when they become the foundation of your diet, they can mess everything up. They can mess with your appetite, metabolism, mood, and brain function. So don't make this emotional, all right? Make it strategic. Eat real food most of the time, eat processed food occasionally, right? Slowly change things. I'm giving you the easy option. and stop letting engineered food beat your biology every day. All right, thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm not your typical doctor. I don't speak in medical language when I'm on YouTube. I want to provide value to you and give you information backed by science, backed by my own personal experiences, and I try to talk nice and raw type of language, if that makes sense. All right, again, a language that's not going to get me suspended. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a massive favor. We're a new channel here. Like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm. Tell me where you're from. Tell me if you found the video useful. Tell me what other topics you want me to cover. And again, subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers, or let's say 100 first. All right, 100. And yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. My name is Amir, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.